Oh, what's going on, Bearded Nation? Your fearless leader here, the bearded one. Coming to you on this gloomy, overcast morning from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, where I am waiting to probably trade my truck in tomorrow, if not on Tuesday. But I got some structural issues with it. I had to go get my alignment done because it was eating up my tires. And they weren't able to do it because my frame is bent. I have a twisted rear axle and my front axle is shifted about 1/4 of an inch. Something I've questioned before, and I was always told there was nothing wrong with it. Well, apparently there is something wrong with it. It's out of spec, it's DOT violations, it's something would get this truck impounded. And I'm not too happy. I've already got about $72,000, maybe $75,000 paid into this truck. So when I trade it off, when the big man comes in, today's Sunday, so he's obviously not here today. They better be transferring the balance of what I've paid on this to the new truck, because this truck has obviously been in an accident. And they said, no, nothing's wrong with it. Really, guys? Well, okay, anyways, that's neither here nor there. Welcome to my channel, Alaska to Nevada, the journey begins. Episode 7, the COVID series. This is part 3 of the 5-part episode. Today is the credit roller coaster. In the first video, or in part 1 I should say, we just basically monologue, let you know what was going on. Part 2, 2 weeks ago, was the I was talking about my experiences with COVID for the second time. It's still affecting me today a little bit, not as bad as it was. Still a little short of breath, still a little congested and phlegmy, still got a cough, but it's all a lot better now than it was a little while ago. In this series, the credit roller coaster part, we're going to be talking about personal credit, building personal credit, rebuilding your personal credit, even bolstering and driving your personal credit scores up. I'm going to talk about my experiences being a victim of ID theft going on 20 years now. Problems I'm still having to this day. Just the other day, today is May 30th. Just on May 25th, somebody tried to take out a car loan in my name at Wells Fargo. That didn't work out too well for him. And shortly before that, somebody tried to open up a credit card at Amazon in my name. That didn't go over too well for him either. And I'm going to go into some of the other issues I've had recently, and why these issues keep popping up every now and then, and why it is a pain in the nicta. I'm going to talk about some of the scams they use to fish for your identity and to hijack your accounts or to steal your identity. This is stuff coming right from the horse's mouth. This is information I'm getting directly from a guy I apprehended a few years ago that skipped bond out of Missouri and fled to Texas, and his bail bondsman hired me to go track him down and drag him back when I was doing work as a bail enforcement agent. I do miss that work a little bit. I'm going to talk about the different programs I use to rebuild and bolster my credit up and where I am right now on my credit profiles. I'm going to talk a little bit about Fico 10. It's a credit killer. I'm going to talk about dealing with debt collectors and why you should never talk to them on the phone or sign anything. I'm going to talk about a couple of email scams that I get regularly, I should say. That I don't fall for them. I don't want you guys to fall for them either. That's why I'm going to be sharing this information with you. And be forewarned, strap yourselves in. This is going to be a long one. This isn't going to be a video. This is going to be a movie. Watch it all at once. Watch it in chunks if you want. If you're at work or whatever, just open this up in another window and let it play in the background, because it's pretty much talking head, unfortunately. There's not going to be too many graphicals or anything in it, or anything other than this pretty face. I know, it's face for radio. You don't have to tell me, I already know. Alright guys, all this and more right after this brief introduction. All right, guys, welcome back. First and foremost, I must say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all my subscribers, to everybody that stuck around and is watching my videos and staying abreast of what's going on with the relocation. I know people are probably saying, why is he talking about COVID? Why is he talking about credit on a channel about relocating and starting a homestead? I almost said farmstead again. Don't know why I keep calling it farmstead. Well, this all rolls, it all folds in. Because of COVID, my relocation and my plans have all been set back quite a bit, but they're not ended. Credit's going to play a huge part in it. I'm going to need at least decent credit to rent a house or an apartment when I get up there until I'm ready to buy a new home. Or same thing on the business side. And next week's video, when I talk about business credit and establishing and setting up my business entity properly, that's going to fold into it too, because I'm going to need business credit to buy equipment, buy supplies, to get my business going, both my homestead and my freight brokerage. In the final episode, in part 4 next week is going to be about, in 2 weeks from today, is going to be about business credit, building and establishing your own business, doing it properly, legally, safely, and hopefully you'll be in the profit right away. And then the following episode, 2 weeks after that, the wrap-up will be, I'm going to talk about my relocation, where I stand on it, what my plans are, the tweaks and modifications I have made to my business model for the homestead, as well as the setbacks I've suffered on the freight brokerage front. But I'm not stopping there. I'm still pushing forward. I'm going to ranger on. I'm going to push through it, and I'm going to lead the way. Full disclaimer, full disclosure, I am not a credit repair specialist. I am not a credit attorney. Obviously, I'm a truck driver. I just want to share with you guys my knowledge, what I have learned in the last 20 years from my own personal experiences and research and investigations into the credit industry, credit scams, and fighting to restore my good name. When I left on my deployment in 2000, my credit score was about 810, which is almost the top. That's almost the best you can get. Only about 3% of the nation make it past 800. They break that 800 seal and get up there. 850 is the highest credit score you can have. You have an 850 credit score, you're a god in the credit industry. And they will be coming out of the woodwork to throw money out at you. My credit score got knocked down almost to the basement. 350 is the lowest credit score possible. I wasn't in the basement, but I was on the basement steps. I was knocked down to 405 from 810. My score was cut in over half. Excuse me. Now, I got back in late November 2003. Early 2004 is when I started receiving the letters and the phone calls from the debt collectors about accounts I had no knowledge of. Now, I hadn't tried to open up any new accounts. I'd just been using my original cards and everything I had going. Then I started getting these letters from debt collectors, these phone calls about bounced checks, missed payments on car loans, on credit cards, on cash loans. I had no clue what these people were talking about. I'm like, well, you got me confused with somebody else. I haven't been in the country the last 3 years. I haven't opened any accounts with you. And I had to prove to them that it wasn't my account. There were addresses in other parts of the country. There was people using my information to get credit in my name. Some of the credit cards were being used in South America. Some of the credit cards were being used in India, of all places. Big surprise there, right? I couldn't figure out what was going on. Get my credit report, start looking at my credit report. I had all these accounts on there I had no knowledge of. My credit rating was tanked. It was down. I mean, it was almost in the toilet. Well, it was in the toilet. It was on the steps leading to the basement. So I was able to work with a lot of these debt collectors and a lot of these creditors and lenders and say, hey, look, I mean, I wasn't even in the country when these accounts opened. I don't know who opened them. I didn't open them. Somebody somehow got my information and they're using it while I've been overseas. Some of them I just had to prove to them that I was overseas, give them a copy of my orders, my passports, what have you. My bank records showing that my military pay was going in my bank account and what was going on there. I had to go provide a lot of information. At the time, police departments weren't taking reports for identity theft. A lot of them still don't to this day. You have to file a affidavit with the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. You'll get a copy of that. You want to go to WW3, which is the FBI's Cyber Crimes Division. Fill out a complaint there, get a copy of that. So you have your WW3 filing and your FTC affidavit. And I had to send all these to these creditors and these bill collectors who were contacting me, along with written signed statement, sworn statement that I didn't open the account, that I don't know anything about it. Had to send them my ID, my proof of residence, my travel orders, everything that I had, showing that these weren't my accounts, that I wasn't even in the country when these accounts were opened. A lot of them said, okay, well, obviously it's not your account. Somebody stole your identity. You're not responsible for it. And they wiped the debt out. They removed it from my credit reports in most cases. I had a couple creditors or debt collectors that refused to do the right thing and remove it, and it sat there. I had to wait for it to age out and reach its zero date. The zero date, when you're talking about credit, zero date is the date that normally 7 years in most states. Some states are different. It could be up to 10. In Nevada, where I live now, it depends on the date. There's different ages on different dates. Are different types of debt. A verbal contract or gentleman's agreement is 2 years. A promissory note where you just sign, hey, I'm borrowing this money, I promise to pay it back in this time, is 3 years. Now, in Nevada, I'm sure in most other areas, payday loan centers are unregulated. They are done on a promissory note, and they're only valid for 3 years in Nevada. Car loans are only valid for 4 years. Property and certain car loans, if you're purchasing like furniture or your assets, you're purchasing real property, they've only got 4 years to sue you for default. On some things, it's 6 years, and the longest they have is 10 years, but that only applies to taxes, and in Nevada, there's no income tax, so you don't have to worry about that. It might be different in your state. Some states, like I said, it's 10 years. Just search your state. Just Google your state credit statute of limitations, or whatever type of loan you're curious about. Auto loan statute of limitations, and see what it says for your state. If you got a negative on your credit report, say you had to give up a car or your car got repossessed on you or what have you, if your state says it's 4 years, that can only remain on your credit report for 4 years and 1 month. You have to give copies of the law to the credit bureaus and to the original lender saying, hey, look, man, freaking 4 years has passed. You got to take this off my credit report. This is a problem I'm actually having today, right now, with a company that I was purchasing a car through. A company I was driving for at the time went out of business. I couldn't afford my car payments, and I did the right thing. I said, hey, man, look, guys, I'm sorry. I got to cancel this contract. I want you to come get the car. I can't afford to pay it, make my payments right now. I just lost my job. And they took it. It's reported on my credit report as a bad debt charge-off. It should have been reported as an involuntary, or rather a voluntary repossession. They didn't properly report it on my credit report. They wrote it off as on their profit and loss statement at the end of the year. So they got 80% of the money that I owed back from the government, from the IRS. Then they turned around and they resold the car at auction. I don't know what they got for it. They won't tell me. Now, if you have a vehicle repossessed, say you owe $5,000 on the car. They send it to auction and it sells for $6,000 at auction. After the repossession fees, reconditioning fees, auction fees, what have you, Any balance that's left over, say there was $500 left. It cost them $500 to have the car repossessed, detailed, readied, and sent to auction and pay the auction fees. Of course, it's going to be more than that. So you owe $5,000. They made $6,000 at the auction. $500 in fees. That additional $500, they don't get the profit. They're supposed to send that to you directly. You profit from that. They don't. Now, of course, on the other hand, if you owe $6,000 and it sells for $5,000, there's a $1,000 loss there. You're still responsible for that loss. Plus, they're going to tack on the repossession fees, late fees, any penalties, interest, anything they can. So you might end up owing them $2,500, $3,500 on top of it. But a dealership, a bank, a lender, they cannot profit off of a repossession sale. Any profit comes back to the debtor, which would be you. Now they took a tax write-off, and that was pretty much it. I don't know what they got at auction. They won't tell me. They didn't send me any checks saying that, hey, this is what we made, this is a profit, here you go. And they won't do it automatically. You got to go looking for it. You got to go asking for it. Give it 30 days and say, okay, well, did you guys sell the car at auction? All right, how much did you get at auction? What's the balance? If they say there's no balance, okay, well, how much did you profit on? How much extra am I getting? You got to tell them, hey, man, you got to pay me that difference. You don't get to keep the difference if there's a profit. If it's a loss, well, it's a different story. You still owe that money. Well, technically, you owe the full loan amount. But most of that loan will be paid off. 80% of that loss will be paid off when they file the profit and loss statement at the end of the year and they take a tax deduction on it. I used to own a small repo company. I dealt with this quite often. I was one guy I dealt with at least once a year. And that's what he did. He'd buy a car cheap. He'd let it go to repo, he'd let it go to auction, and he'd go after the buy here, pay here places for, I want the balance. Well, how much did you make on that auction? I know you made such a money at auction. Because he worked for the damn auction house there, one of the main auction blocks where the majority of these cars went through. So he knew what they cost them to recondition and sell the car at auction, all their auction fees, how much the car sold for, that he knew what he owed on it and what the profit or loss was on it. And whenever there was a profit, he went after them, and if they didn't pay him, he went and took them to court and got his settlements, and he was making a living like that. Crooked bastard. So yeah, I've still got that loan showing on my credit report. It's showing that I owe $14,000. Originally, it was a $28,000 loan, so I paid off almost half of it. I owed a little over $14,000 when I told them, hey, come get it. I can't afford it anymore. That's still showing on my credit report right now. It's going on 5 years since I gave the car back. So now I'm trying to get that removed from my credit report. Once I get that removed from my credit report, my credit score is going to jump up. But not as much as you would think it was, because it's going to also affect the overall age of my accounts, because all my accounts right now that I've got going are maybe 2 years old. So the average age of my account is probably 4 or 5 months. Once that car loan comes off, which is my oldest loan right now, the oldest open account on my credit report, well, my credit balance will loan balance will drop dramatically. But so will the age of my credit file. But getting that removed from my credit report will pop my score up about 20, 21 points. Having the reduced what I owe should bring it up a little bit more. So I'm expecting a 30 to 35 point credit increase once I get that off my credit file. Now, I know I mentioned in the past I got this debt collector on there that was trying to collect for a hotel that I've never stayed at, and he's been manipulating my credit report. Every month he report, or I'm sorry, every week, sometimes twice. Even he's done it at some points 3 times in 1 week. Posted missed payment, missed payment, missed payment, missed payment. He'll do that for a couple months every week. Then he'll post, oh, you missed a payment here for $13. You missed a payment here for $15. You missed a payment here for $439. You made a payment of $86. You paid down your debt, so the score jumps up just a little bit. The next week, or even the same damn week, he'd turn around and say, oh, you missed a payment of $90 now. So now it pulls my score back down. And just up and down, up and down, up and down with my credit score. He would get my balance. He'd start the balance out every year on January 1st at $1,346. By the end of the year, it would be $5,000 or more. And December 31st. All of a sudden, January 31st rolls around. Alert from my credit monitoring. Congratulations, you've paid down your collections account. I go look at it. The balance is all the way back down to the original starting balance. And then he starts building it up again. He's doing that to re-age the account, to keep the account in collections and keep it open longer. I got an attorney involved in it finally because I want to get up there to Anchorage. I want to find a good place to live, and to find a decent house or a decent apartment to rent. They're going to look at your credit report, and they see on there that you owe a housing debt. And in my case, it's a false debt. It's a fake debt. It's a fake account. Or it's a fraudulent account, I should say. Because that hotel is listed as a housing expense, I'm not going to be able to move into a good neighborhood. I'm not going to be able to move into a decent house. And it's going to hurt me. That is until earlier this month. Earlier this month, I get a alert from my credit monitoring. Your credit profile has been updated. Okay, now what's on there? My first thought was, okay, now what's this clown putting on my credit report? Because 90% of the time I get those messages, it's something he's added or changed on my credit report. I look at it, my score has jumped from a 577 to a 650. I'm like, wait, what? What the hell's this? Click on the link to see what changed. Your overall balance, 0. Your collections account has been removed. Both those right there, having the collections account removed, brought my score up 22 points. Having my, what I owed drop, the $4,000 he claimed that I owed right now, my credit utilization and everything dropped because of that, so my score went up dramatically. So I'm like, holy cow, I'm at 650 now. Woohoo! Before this guy got on there, I was at 680, 690, up in that area. So my credit's steadily climbing. Right now on TransUnion, I'm 655. On Equifax, I'm 660. And on Experian, I am 651. My overall credit score between all three of them, my average is around 655, 666, something like that. I know 666, not a good number. So my score is coming up, finally. And getting him off my credit report was one of the main things that did it. Now, one of the accounts I have, one of my cards that I have, is a secured card through my bank, Navy Federal Credit Union. I started that out a year ago with a $250 deposit. A couple months later, I added another $250. I just, every couple months, I keep adding to it, adding to it, adding to it. Well, last month I added to it $250, brought my credit limit up to $1,500 even. This month when my credit report updated, my score jumped up because it's reporting that I had a credit increase. Credit limit increase brings your score up, brings your utilization down a little bit, and it helps a lot. This month, I increased that credit limit another $1,000 because it hasn't graduated to a full card yet. It is still a secured card. So whatever I put for a deposit on it becomes my credit limit until they decide to graduate it, then it will double. Right now, my credit limit on that card is $2,500. So here on the, I believe the 6th of next month, so the end of next week, my credit limit should jump up quite a bit. It should jump up to probably around, I'm guessing 670 again, maybe 675. between the credit limit increase I added to it for the month, I've paid down my utilization. I've paid all my cards down to under 30% use, which is like what they like to see. If you're over 30% utilization, it pulls your score down. Could be 5-10 points per card. But if you're under 30% utilization, it'll push your score up 5 or 10 points per card or loan account, what have you. I've also added a new installment loan to my credit profile because I paid off 2 of my loans this month. Then I had little small starter loans to get me going. I started another installment loan because credit companies, credit profiles like to see a mix of revolving credit. Revolving credit are things like store credit cards, charge accounts, your Visa, your Master, your regular credit cards. And an installment loan would be like a auto loan or a personal loan or a mortgage. Although mortgages fall in their own category, which can move your score 100, 200 points either way. An auto loan's in its own category, but it can move your score maybe 50, 75 points. Either way. So it's good to have they want to see a good mix of credit usage and credit utilization. I had 3 installment loans. I paid 2 of them off. I was down to 1. Now I'm back up to 2 because I just added a new one this week. So that'll report at next week's credit report. And the best thing that happened, I went to my bank's website and I did their credit card pre-qualifications to see what I'm pre-qualified to get. They said I'm only qualified for the secured card under the pre-qualification program, which I already have. You're only allowed 1 at a time. But I also belong to, on Facebook, there is a Navy Federal Credit Union members fan page, is what it's called. Navy Federal Credit Union fan page is what it's called. And it's all members of Navy Federal. All people that have accounts at the credit union, they talk about different things they do, and they show off and brag their credit limits and stuff. You have people on there with 560 scores getting $10,000 credit limits after they've been there for a couple of months. You got people, I've seen quite a few people post that they were only pre-qualified for 1 card. They applied for another card and they got the other card at a decent limit. So I said, you know what, I'm going to pull the trigger. Now that my credit score is up to 650, I've got these loans paid down, my utilization's under 30% on my secured card. I'm going to pull the trigger. I might get $3,000, maybe $5,000 credit limit, but hey, if I'm lucky, I'll get $3,000 to $5,000 credit limit, which I wouldn't say no to. Did the online application. The way these guys are doing it, they're working between like 1 and 4 a.m. when the system's usually down for maintenance, and they're doing the computer's calculating everything, because they have somebody available 24/7 by phone to file an application or open an account or any questions or issues you have. They have a 24-hour service. But when you're in that area, when those guys' systems are down, the computers are doing all the work, and these guys are getting approved for these cards. So I went ahead, I filled it out. And I got the dreaded letter, you'll receive a response from us in 7 to 10 days by mail. Okay, that's not a surprise. Which I was kind of expecting it, because I do have what's called a hawk alert or an extended fraud alert on my credit profiles. And I'll talk to about those here in a little bit. So I go 3 days. I give them a call. Hey, I applied for a cash rewards card the other day, and I haven't heard back. I know I got the instant letter, the instant message on there saying that I hear back from you guys. But I do have that hawk alert on my credit profile. I wanted to see if it was a reconsideration, or what do I need to do here to move this application forward and do the verification process. They said, well, it's still in review. You'll hear from somebody in the next day or 2. Oh, okay. About 2 hours later, phone rings. I answer it. It's Navy Federal. Spoke to a nice woman. I was on the phone with her for probably 30 minutes. I mean, just a general conversation, general chit-chat. We're going back and forth. She's like, wait, well, we need to verify a few things here, because I got talking to her, and she realized I knew what I was talking about with when it comes to credit scores, utilization, and all that. And I said, yeah, I've been expecting this call. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I have that fraud alert on my credit file. I figured you guys would be calling me anyways. But I hadn't heard anything back. I called earlier. They said give it a couple more days, and here you are. So I went through all the information. She said, well, I'm going to send you a text message to your phone. I'll need you to read back that verification code. She sent the text message to my phone. I read the code. She said, okay, yeah, you're verified. You're good to go. I said, okay, so I'm actually surprised I got this call. I was expecting it, but I'm surprised I got it because it's been so long. I figured I was shot down already. Especially when I got that general message there saying I'll hear from you in 7 to 10 days. Those are usually denials. She's like, well, I mean, if it made it to me, chances are you probably got a 90% chance that you're being approved for this card. Okay, cool. She goes, yeah, you'll hear back in a couple more days. It's being advanced forward now to final review. Okay, sweet, thank you. Maybe 30 minutes later, I get an email. Congratulations, you've been approved. $10,000 credit limit. I'm like, what? $10,000 credit limit. Woohoo! On a card I wasn't pre-qualified for. So that'll show in next month's credit report and credit update. Now, of course, it's going to drop my score a little bit because it's a hard inquiry on my credit file. I'm going to go over hard inquiry and soft inquiries later on. So that'll bring the score down a little bit. Opening a new account brings the score down a little bit. But the balance being so high, packed in with my other credit cards, my total credit limit right now is $15,000. It's not a lot, but my available credit is $15,000 now between all my cards. And I'm not complaining the least damn bit. I opened up a Discover It card, which is a secured card. I started out, I put a $250 deposit on it. A couple months later, I put another $250 on it to bump it up to a $500 limit. Just when I was getting ready to add another $500 to it, it graduated without me realizing it. And now I've got a $1,000 credit limit on that card. So I'm not complaining. And as long as I'm using the card right, I'm paying down my balances, keep my utilization below 30%. I might put a fairly large charge if I have to on it, and I'll pay it off over 2 or 3 weeks. But I'm making $2,000 a week as a truck driver on average. Anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 I get every week as a driver. So I'm able to pay these cards down fairly quickly and pay them off. So we'll see what happens there and how that goes. So I'm expecting my credit score next week with the ups and downs that I'm expecting to go in it. It'll probably have 5 or 6 changes on my credit limit, but I'm expecting it to stabilize around, like I said, 670, 675 on my credit score rather, but we shall see. Pretty soon I'll be over 700. I want to get over 720. If I get 720, 750 in the next month or two, I'm going to put in for a car loan and buy another vehicle. Right now, all I have is my tractor trailer and that POS that I drive when I'm rarely home. I mean, I only paid, what, $1,300 for that car. It's not the best car in the world, but it gets me to point A to point B and does what it's supposed to do. It moves me around. But I will probably end up selling that before I move to Alaska anyways. Give me a little extra money for the move. But yeah, let me put a picture up here for you. This is my credit report over the last 3 months. See all the ups and downs? It's like a roller coaster, up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm not complaining. It's going up, drops down, goes up, but it's on a steady climb. And you see there where that one big jump up there? That's when I got rid of that debt collector. How did I get rid of him? Well, I mean, I've been filing disputes every week with the 3 credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, for the last 5.5 years, fighting it. I've contacted this guy, told me, look, I was a victim of ID theft, or if you're a victim of ID theft, I can't talk to you because I don't know who you're talking to, and he disconnected, and I can't get him on the phone again. I sent them a letter, return receipt requested, so they had to sign that little green card that they received it in the post office, stamped it, and sent it back to me as proof of delivery. I have that. I got to the point where I went and I filed a complaint with the CFPB, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, which is a federal government agency that's supposed to look out for you, the consumer. But it seems like they're more out to help the lenders than they are the consumers, which what they were designed for. It's fairly new. It's a Biden creation. It's where the current administration wants to take care of your credit from now on. They want to take it out of the private hands. They want to take it out of the hands of TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, and turn it all over, the control of your credit profile and your life over to this federal government agency. This is a socialized form of credit system like they have in China, where with this system here, your credit, your worth, where you live, where you work, how much money you earn every year is going to be based on your social credit score, which will be controlled by the government. They're going to decide based on your lifestyle, your age, your education, your upbringing, your background, where you grew up, where you live. Are you in a low-income neighborhood? Are you in a middle-class neighborhood? Are you in an upper-class neighborhood? It will only benefit the upper class and will hurt and harm the lower class and the middle class. Because they're going to tell you where you can live. That house you're living in right now, if they take over, they might force you out of it into a friggin' low-income neighborhood because they don't feel you are worthy. Just like in China. Then there's Fico 10. Fico 10 is a new scoring model that came out this year. And it is a credit killer, people. And all banks, lenders, everybody is going to be required to start using Fico 10 at the end of this year. So there's going to be no more FICO 7, FICO 8, no more Vantage scores, no more Intelli scores, anything like that. It's all going out the window. Everybody's going to have to rely solely on FICO 10, which the government has control of. And rather than looking at the last 7 years of your credit history to build trends and see how well you're doing over a 7-year period to create your credit score, it's only going to look at the last 48 months, the last 4 years of your credit. That's all that's going to matter. You could have had good credit up until now, but what's hurting everybody is with COVID, people being out of work, losing their jobs, for the last year and a half now having to rely heavily on their credit cards to survive, driving their utilization up and their credit scores down. The national credit average has dropped from just over 700 to just over 600 since COVID nationally, the average. With FICO 10 going into effect, these last 2 years are going to be a primary factor of your credit profiles and your credit scores. FICO 10 is a credit killer. It is designed to destroy the middle class and decimate the lower class, and only benefits the upper class, the rich people, the people that have the money there that don't have to worry about an income. They're making money. They're paying their taxes. They're not harming their credit. They're paying all their bills on time. They're not relying heavily on their credit like the rest of us have been here lately because of COVID. If you keep your utilization low and your payments on time or paying it early, it helps your credit. If your credit utilization is high because of COVID, having to rely on your card, your credit score is going to be lower. And it's sickening them, to say the least. Now, sorry, I got distracted for a second. Ooh, look, a pigeon. You guys got to be careful. Do what you can to rebuild your credit. Now, if you're somebody in this situation where I am right now, where I was a victim of ID theft, or if you're in somebody in a situation where your credit's dropped because of overutilization due to COVID, there's ways to rebuild your credit and bump your credit scores up rather quickly within 3 to 6 months. If you already have good credit, say you have a 740, 760, you want to get up over 800 because you want to make a big ticket purchase, like you want to buy a home, you want that 800 plus credit score to give you low interest rates and a great loan options. These programs will work for you as well. If you're just starting out brand new to credit, these will help you too. First couple things I'm going to talk about. If you're eligible to become a member of Navy Federal, I would join them. Now, to be eligible, you either have to be active, inactive, or retired military, or a direct descendant of somebody that is. Could be your mother, father, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandparents, somebody along those lines that are a member of your family. They get a membership there, and then you can join under their membership. And it's worth it to do it. I actually prefer them over USAA. I get better rates and better programs through Navy Federal than I did through USAA. Get one of those accounts. Get an account with your local credit union. You're going to get better rates through a credit union than you will a bank anyways. You're going to open up an account. It'll be like a $5 you have to put in the savings minimum to open the account that goes into their shares program, where you buy a share. Then whatever you put in savings and whatever you put in your checking. But you want to put at least probably $125 to start. Put $100 in checking and $25 in the savings. Just get some money in there to get the account opened. Now, you want to, as soon as you can, you want to put at least another $250 into your savings account and tell them hey, I want to do a pledge loan. I have $250 in my savings account right now, or better yet, put $500 in your savings account. I want to do a pledge loan, and I want to open a secured charge card. I want to put $250 on the charge card. I want to put our credit card. I want to put $250 on the pledge loan. The way a pledge loan works is, and the same thing with the credit card, is that money sits in your savings account, but it gets frozen. It don't show up in your available balance. They freeze it so you can't use it, so you can't access it. But you're still collecting interest and dividends on that full, in this case, $500 that you've got tied up on the credit card and the loan. Now, on the loan, you pay your monthly payments on the loan. It's not going to be a $250 loan over 6 months. It's going to be like $40 a month you're going to pay on it. They freeze that money. Then they give you a loan for the $250 that you just froze. So you put $250 into your savings account. The next day there'll be $250 in your checking account that'll be available for you to use. Just make your payments on it. As you make your payment every month, whatever the amount of your payment is, so you can pay $50 on it. Within 2 or 3 days, $50 will show up in your savings account that will release that amount of the payment. Now, when it comes to a secured credit card, you put $250 on a secured credit card, you get $250 line of credit. Now, you can add to that anytime. I'd wait 2 or 3 months, add another $250 to it. Now, your credit limit just went from $250 to $500. And every couple months, just add $250, $50, whatever you can to it, to keep raising your credit limit on that card. Now, when they get around to graduating, a lot of cards graduate in 3 to 6 months. Whatever your credit limit is at the time that it graduates, that it gets converted to a full card. Say you have, like me right now, I've got $2,500 on that card for my security deposit. So my credit limit's $2,500. If next week they graduate that card, my limit's going to double. It's going to be $5,000. And that $2,500 deposit that I have in my savings account to secure that card gets released. It gets given back to me. They refund it. Now, if you default on the card and you go a couple months without making the payments, or you don't follow their guidelines and they cancel the card on you, or for not following the guidelines or not making your regular payments on it, they go to that $2,500 that I put in there for my deposit. They deduct, say I owe $1,000 on the card. They deduct $1,000 from that. They give me back the rest of it, the $1,500. And they report to your credit reporting agencies, all 3 agencies, that you defaulted on this card. It's a bad debt charge-off. You owe $0 on it, but it's going to bring your score down 50, 60 points easily. And it takes a while to recover from that. They can stay on your account for up to 7 years, 10 years in some states. So you got to be careful there. Don't overtax yourself. Don't do more than you can afford, because it will only hurt you in the long run. So I have that secured card with my credit union. I'm on another pledge loan. So, I mean, I have my first loan reporting to the all three credit bureaus every month, just like my secured card reports to all three credit bureaus every month. Payment on time, paying is agreed, boom, 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 low utilization, what have you. It's bringing my scores up. Now, in the areas where I have high utilization, my score comes down a bit. But something like that is easy to overcome. Just get your card back back down to below 30% utilization. And the following month, you'll see your score rebound and come right back up. Because they report this monthly. Every month it's reported. Sometimes every week. So you got your pledge loan. You've got your secured loan through your secured card through your credit union. All right. Now you're on the way to establishing or rebuilding your credit. Now you have two positive accounts in a mix of credit. You have an installment loan, which is your pledge loan, and you have revolving credit, which is your secured credit card. These help drastically, or incrementally rather, bring your score up. Then you're going to go to, say, Discover card. You're going to open up a new account at Discover, get the Discover It card, put $250, $500, whatever you can on it. It is a secured card. Every couple of months, add to that balance. Until they decided to graduate. I mean, it took them like 6 months to graduate my card, which surprised me. Especially my utilization was up around 98%. Because I was out with COVID and I relied heavily on that card. I relied heavily on all my cards for the month and a half the month plus I was down with COVID. But I was able to pay that down rather quickly. And I was surprised at my utilization being so high that they graduated the card when they did. And I'm not complaining. I'm not knocking it. About 5 days later, I got a check in the mail for $500 for my deposit that I put on the card. It was refunded to me. I just put it in the bank and used that to pay off what I had on the card. Another program you want to use is, Capital One has a great a great secured card. Same thing, start out there with $250. Now, it is possible to get denied a secured credit card. Even though you're putting money up, it is possible to be denied for those. Those are not 100% absolute guarantees. So be aware of that. You can get a card with Capital One, a secured card. I use two different loan programs. I have Self-Lend, which is, I took their lowest level, which is $539, the lowest loan. They deposit, you don't see that money right away. They deposit that as a certificate of savings into a CD account, certificate of deposit, into a bank, where it collects interest and dividends every month. And it secures your loan for $539. So say you default on the loan, you stop making your payments on it, it all gets reported negatively to your credit report. And when that certificate of CD matures in a year, they just keep all the money. They just take all the money to pay what you owe them. Now with them, after 3 months of on-time payments, they offer you a secured credit card. So say you have $150 paid into your loan, you can get a secured credit card for $150. And then every month when you make your payment, a couple days later, hey, you can increase your credit limit by $25 in $25 increments. I've been doing this the whole time I've had this account for a year now. Make a payment, 2 or 3 days, I'd increase my balance $25. Make a payment, a couple days later, increase my balance, my available credit, $25 rather, up to $500. So every month that's been reporting on my credit report, credit limit increase, credit limit increase, credit limit increase. My credit score's ticking up and up and up and up. The other loan I have is a $2,500 10-year loan through Credit Strong. The payment on that's $30 a month. They have 9 different loan options you can take. The highest one is you can take a $10,000 loan out. The payment on that is $110 month. Now with Credit Strong, they allow you to have 2 open accounts at one time. I went with the $2,500, like the mid-tier account, but I've only got one open. I mean, after you make your first payment, after the first month, they allow you to open another account. I'm not going to open another account there yet, I don't think. If I do, it'll be another low-level account. On that, I'm paying $30 a month right now. On my self-lend account, I was paying $48 a month. I'm sorry, $46.01 a month, but I was paying $50 every month on it anyways, automatically. So I actually paid that account off early. So I won't see the remaining $39 that they owe me until November, I believe it is. So I paid that account off real early. But it's still sitting in there. It's still earning interest. $539 is earning interest and dividends on that. When it matures, it gets put into a regular savings account. Now, I can have them deposit that back into my bank account for a fee, or I can leave it into that current savings account and just let it keep building interest there. Studies have shown when you have a savings account in a bank separate from your main account, so you can have a savings account in your main bank, have another savings account somewhere else, make sure you got money going into it every month, you're more apt to save in that account and leave it be and let it collect interest and earn dividends and increase in value than if you have it in your regular account or in your main bank, your primary bank. Now, with the savings account, under federal law, you're only permitted to take 6 withdrawals a month. You only take money out of your savings account 6 times a month maximum. After that, you start getting charged a fee. It's like 38% of whatever you take out over 6, you get penalized by the federal government for, which sucks balls. I got somebody coming off the truck. I'll be back in a second. All right, guys, sorry about that. Another driver had a question. New driver, simple question. Just took a minute to help him get something fixed on his truck. Well, not fixed, but he wanted to know how to use the EPU in his truck. He's never had an EPU, only APUs. So I just showed him how to do it. It only took a second. Anyways, these accounts that I'm talking about here, like Credit Strong and Self-Lend. Wait a minute. Why's my air not working? There it is. These programs I'm talking about, I'm going to put together a affiliates page on my business website on mpenterprises.us/affiliate. So you guys can get in there and follow the links to these programs so you can check them out for yourself. They are affiliate programs, which means I will make a very small percentage on anything you subscribe to or purchase through these links. And it's all going to go right back into the channel. It's going to better the channel, get better equipment, and hopefully give you guys better content. Now, just trying to get this thing weight balanced a little bit. So those are the main things I'm using right now to build my credit up. I'm using my credit union's secured card, my credit union's pledge loan program. Some credit unions have a pledge loan, others it's secured by a CD, so you open up a CD and they give you a loan for the CD. They put this, they give you a loan for say $500, and you don't see the money. It goes into a CD or a certificate of deposit where it sits for a year, collecting dividends and interest and everything. As long as you make your payments every month on it as scheduled on the loan, it reports all 3 credit bureaus, and it builds up your credit report. And at the end of the year, you get to cash out that CD. You get to get that money that you borrowed, say the $500, plus your interest and dividends that were earned on it. Now, of course, if you default on the loan, the credit union just leaves it there until it matures, and then they cash it out and keep the money to pay your loan. And it's going to reflect negatively on your credit report, which is what we don't want to happen. Now, I was starting to talk about earlier that housing clown that I had on there with that bogus hotel stay. Well, I filed a complaint with the CFPB. I filed a complaint with the Secretary of State Consumer Affairs Unit. And I also filed a complaint with the Nevada State Banking Regulations Division that oversees debt collections. Gave them all the same complaint. Hey, I get this guy here. Here's his information. He's reporting a false account on my credit report. Has nothing to do with me. I've been disputing this forever. I've tried talking to him on the phone. Once I told him I was a victim of ID theft, he said, I can't talk to you because I don't know who I'm talking to. Hung up on me. I sent them a letter requesting debt validation and proof that the debt's mine because I've never stayed at this particular hotel. And I do have the return receipt signed by them. And every week, sometimes twice, even 3 times a week, he's reporting false missed payments on my credit report. He's also re-aging the account every year. He keeps building the credit level up, or the debt level up to over $5,000. Then at the end of the year, it's at $5,000 plus. Beginning of the year rolls around, I get the alert from my credit monitoring that I paid down that debt, and the debt's back down to $1,346. I don't own this debt. I've never stayed at this hotel. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I've called this hotel. They said I've never stayed there. So I don't know what's going on here. I said the guy keeps re-aging my debt. He's reporting false missed payments. He's reporting false made payments. And I've got the records from the credit bureau. He's doing this all on TransUnion. He's not dealing with Equifax. He's not dealing with Experian. He's just doing this at TransUnion, which seems to be the most commonly one used across the country. I said, here's a printout from TransUnion, a history report of this particular account here, and you can see the comments on there. Missed payment, missed payment, made payment, missed payment, missed payment, missed payment, missed payment. 3 missed payments in a single week. I said, I don't know what this guy's doing, if he's trying to charge me interest and fees and stuff here. I know under Nevada state law, a debt collector cannot charge you any interest, fees, or penalties unless you agree in advance to pay those, and they must be calculated in one lump sum and added to the balance up front, and they can't keep adding to it every week or every month like this guy's been doing. So they sent a copy of the complaint off to him saying, oh, we got this complaint from this debtor, blah, blah, blah. This is what he's alleging. The guy said, well, no, the debt's valid. Here's his voter registration that proves the debt's valid. How's that prove the debt's valid, voter registration? Can anybody tell me? If you know how, please comment in the description below. Or comment in the comment section below. Let us know. I'm sure inquiring minds want to know. He said, and he numbered all his responses. Number 1 was, we never received any type of dispute from him. Line number 2, we receive almost monthly disputes through the credit bureau from him. Well, you just contradicted yourself. You said you've never received any dispute from me in any way, shape, or form, but then in the next sentence you're saying, we got report disputes to the credit reporting agency, and we've always validated the balance. Okay, you just lied right there. You're contradicting yourself. He says they never spoke to me. I never contacted them. Well, that's bull. They said they never received anything in writing requesting debt validation. That's bull. I had the signed return receipt showing, hey, you guys signed for the letter on this date, this time, at your office, and this is who signed for it. They couldn't wiggle the way out of that one. I sent that back with my reply to his reply to my follow-up. He said, oh yeah, and he agreed to these interest charges. He never asked for debt validation. Well, here's the debt validation. Here's his driver's license. Here's his signature on the agreement to pay these interest fees. Well, number 1, it's not my signature. It's just scribbled. Number 2, what he gave them was a regular driver's license. I have a commercial driver's license. Big difference. The next big clue that was a fustercluck was the photo on the driver's license was a black guy. Do I look black to you guys? Come on, really? So, I mean, when he sent all that stuff over to them and they sent it to me, I replied back to them simply saying, well, this guy's full of it. Number one, here's my actual driver's license. And I have a commercial driver's license, not a regular driver's license. I've held a commercial driver's license since they first came out 20-some years ago. Since it was mandatory that you have a commercial driver's license to drive a commercial vehicle, I've had a commercial driver's license. I've started out with a Class C, then I got a Class B, now I have a Class A to drive the big rigs. I've had a Class A for 12 years now, starting in Michigan. Here's my MVR, here's my motor vehicle records printout, showing for the last 10 years in Nevada, I've held a commercial driver's license. I've never held a regular driver's license. And what he's claiming on that, those dates, don't match up with the dates that my license was issued. So right there proved that it was fake. He didn't have anything with my signature on it. It was just a scribble. And I replied, well, how can a scribble be considered a signature? I know just an X is a signature if you can't sign your own name. Most people are literate now. They know how to sign their own name. I know how to sign my name. I'm sure you do too. At least most of you anyways, I hope. I'm sorry, that sounded a little condescending. I was trying to be funny, but I do apologize. That didn't come out the way I wanted it to. So I was able to give them my actual driver's license that has my signature on it. Doesn't anywhere near what he was showing for a signature. His signature is just a friggin' scribble. Not me. I didn't sign that. I've never seen that document. And the piece of resistance was, the photo was a black guy. I'm a white guy. Well, a red guy. I'm Siksaka. On my mother's side, I'm Siksaka, a Blackfoot Indian. Siksaka Nation. On my father's side, I'm English and Irish. And according to the DNA test I just took recently, I was given a DNA test. I'm also part Georgian, which is up near Russia, and also part Lebanese. Who knew? Apparently my DNA didn't tell me. But those DNA tests, they're a scam. I have friends of mine, they're twins, identical twins. They took the DNA test. Totally different results for both of them. Totally different heritage lines, totally different family lines. It was quite comical. But that's neither here nor there. So right after I replied to the CBFP and the Consumer Affairs Division, I never heard back from the banking regulations. Never heard a word from them in Nevada. Right after I replied to the BS he was showing, and I was asking, what does a voter registration? Yes, that is my voter registration. That is my address on the voter registration card. That is my signature on the voter registration card. That doesn't even match the signature that he's showing me. He said he never got a request for validation of the loan or the debt. Here's the friggin' return receipt where they signed for the letter that I sent to them. So yeah, that pretty much wiped out his argument. And it was within 10 days after my reply to the CFPB and the Consumer Affairs Division there, he removed it from my credit profile. Yay! Yay me! Which caused my credit score to jump dramatically, which will make it so much easier for me to find a house almost next month now. Mid-July, I am going to Anchorage. Hotel's been booked, flight's been booked, car's been rented, drinks have been ordered, bribes have been paid. Look out, Anchorage, here I come. Mid-July. Me and my 40 caliber handgun. Yes, I will be flying armed. And yes, there's a way to fly with firearms, and I'll talk about that in another video. I can't wait to get up there and find a friggin' place. And I'm right now working on a government contract for my freight brokerage. God, I hope the hell I get this contract. Just got to get the insurance requirements they need now, and that's pretty much where I stand on getting the contract. I pretty much have the contract. I'm pretty much already been told, you get the contract, you just got to meet these additional requirements, and we'll sign a contract with you. Wish me luck. I'll talk about that more in the 5th installment of this episode, the final installment of this episode, where hopefully I will have good news and I'll be able to say, yes, we got the contract. So I finally got that guy off. So now, context, you perverts. I got that guy off of my credit report. So now I will be able to get a better deal and move into a nicer home in a better neighborhood when I get up to Anchorage. I've already got my eye on a couple neighborhoods, a couple houses rather than an apartment. I won't mind an apartment for now, but I would prefer to be in a house. I prefer the privacy. But that's all for part 5. We're getting ahead of ourselves here. So those are the programs I've used to reestablish and rebuild my credit. Like I said, I'm going to leave you a link below to a page that I'm setting up on my business website specifically for these programs and a few other things you might be interested in. There'll be up there a link up there for My Patriot Supply, where you can get food storage, build up a food bank for yourself for emergencies, power goes out, prolonged periods, or what have you. You want to have enough food around you. I know there's some idiot there in Washington saying anybody that has more than 2 weeks worth of food needs to have their food seized and they need to go to jail for hoarding. Now, it's not hoarding, it's prepping, it's preparing. I'm having links up there to a few different programs you guys might be interested in, primarily the business and personal credit and some other stuff. Things that will help you guys out, which is what I want to do here. Now, some of the scams out there, the big one that I get is the Payday collections loan scam. I got that call earlier this year. Let me go back to take us back in time here to October of last year. And I got to go forward a little bit to go back on this one. I'm going to shut my engine down. Back in December, I get a phone call from Capital One to verify information on a credit card application in my name at Cabela's. An application I never filed, mind you. Now, I do have a Hawk Alert, or an extended fraud alert, also referred to as a consumer statement, on my credit profile, and I'll tell you guys how to do that when I talk about securing your credit profile. It basically says they have to call me on my cell phone number, this right here that I'm talking to you guys on, and validate and verify the information and make sure it's me that's actually filing the application. I get that phone call from them. I'm like, no. Nope. I never applied to Cabela's. Guys, I was victim of ID theft. Now, hold on a minute. I got on my tablet. I pulled up my credit report. I'm looking at my credit report right now. I want to look at a couple things here. Where do I send my FTC affidavit and my WW3 filing and proof that it's not my address and it's not my account? They told me where to send it, so I emailed it over to them so I could look at it right away. And I asked them, I said, I need a copy of that application. You need to send me a copy of that application. Oh, no, we don't do that. What do you mean you don't do that? Well, our policy not to return that for privacy concerns. I said that your privacy concern issue goes right out the window, considering that it's my information being used and it's my privacy that's violated. Besides that, federal law requires that you provide me a copy of the application filed in my name if I request it, especially in cases of fraud. And they still refused. Well, we can't do that. We can't have you going after them, blah, blah, blah. Dude, I'm sending the cops after them. I'm not going after them. I need that report. They wouldn't give it to me, but they did give me the application reference number, which I passed on to law enforcement. I said, okay, well, I'm pulling up my credit report right now. What state was that filed in? They said Minnesota. I said, I got a brand new address right here on my credit report that I'm looking at from Excelsior, Minnesota, from last month. If I give you the address, can you verify if it's the same address on the application or not? He goes, well, I'm not supposed to do that, but go ahead. I gave him an address. The dude goes, well, see, there it is, your account. You know, right down to the application. I said, no, it's not. Well, then how did you know the address? I said, I just told you it's a new address showing on my credit file, on my credit report. So he validated the address for me. I had to go back and forth with him a little bit. I had to get his supervisor involved because this guy was thick-headed. Finally got them to make sure the account was not issued, that no credit was extended to these people, and that there was notes put in the system on their end that if my social security number comes up, that most likely it is fraud, that somebody just tried to fraud on my credit file. They have to make sure they call me. So while I'm looking at it, I turned around and saw there was also from the previous month in November, there was a credit pull from Moneyline. Why the hell is Moneyline looking at my account? I don't do payday loans. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. So let me look at that. I give Moneyline a call. Oh, that's for that $50,000 loan you tried to take out. What? Well, the $50,000, I didn't try to take no damn $50,000 cash loan. The hell are you talking about, Willis? I said, look, dude, I was a victim of ID theft. I didn't try to open an account. Please tell me this. They weren't able to take any money out. He said, no, it was denied because they couldn't answer the security challenge questions. And I'll explain those here in a minute. Okay, good. Well, here's my information showing this is not my account, that I didn't try to open this. And they put a note in their system saying, okay, yeah, well, this guy was a victim of ID theft. Do not lend anything in his name at any of our locations nationwide. So I got that closed out. But I start looking through and searching more closely through my credit report. I look at my soft inquiries. I see the state of Ohio's on there twice. You said state of Ohio department and gave a code. So I had to look up the codes to find out what they were. I look up the first code, give them a call. It's Department of Unemployment, their fraud division. I'm like, okay. Hey guys, how you doing? This is Bear here. I'm just going over my credit report. I was victim of my ID theft a few years ago. I had somebody try and open up a account earlier at Cabela's in my name. I got a phone call from them, so I pulled my credit report. I'm looking at it. I see there's a self-inquiry here from your department. Why? Well, you filed an unemployment insurance claim. I said, no, I didn't. I said, I don't live in Ohio. I don't work in Ohio. I have no business ties with Ohio, other than maybe on occasion I might deliver a load up there as a truck driver. But I don't work for anybody up there that would be paying into the unemployment insurance program. Well, can you prove you're a victim of ID theft? I said, yeah, I can send you over a copy of my FTC filing, my WW3, my ID, whatever you want. They sent me an affidavit. I had to fill out the affidavit. Sent everything over to him while I was on the phone with him. It only took a couple minutes to do it. He looks everything over and said, okay, well, yeah, this was obviously a fraudulent attempt to file a unemployment insurance claim. I said, was the claim issued? Please tell me it was denied. He goes, oh yeah, no, it was denied automatically because you you have no work history in Ohio. He goes, but it's a good thing you called in because we have an investigation going against you over the fraudulent claim right now. We're going to charge you with felony unemployment insurance fraud. I'm like, wow. So I got close on that. Got that close. I had them send me over a letter of exoneration saying that I'm not responsible for it, that it wasn't my account, and confirming that I spoke to them and that they're closing the account out on me. So I got this other division code here, same week that was filed. Can you tell me, does this division code have to do with you guys as well? I gave them the code number. I said, no, I'm not familiar with that one. You'll have to look it up. I have no way of knowing what that is. I said, okay, no problem. I look it up, call the number. Child support enforcement. Excuse me? Child support enforcement, how can I help you? I don't know. You tell me. I see you guys were looking at my credit report back in October. And I have no clue why. Well, there was a child support claim filed against you by Letitia something or other for a 5-year-old boy and a 18-month-old girl. I'm like, no, I don't have any children that young. I mean, freaking, my grandkids are older than that, for Christ's sakes. He's like, well, do you know Letitia so-and-so? No, I don't. When my wife passed away in 96, I didn't deal with it too well. I drank rather heavy, and I slept with anything that would move. There were a lot of women, and I do mean a lot, not to brag, but there hasn't been anybody in 10 years And I've pretty much been celibate for the last 10 years. I mean, I'm on the road all the time. I don't have time for a relationship. I ended up having to send them all my information, to prove that it's not me. Well, in the end, I had to take a DNA test. It cost me $750 to do the test, and the results showed that I'm not the daddy. Big investigation was opened up over it. They turned around, they arrested the mother, took the children away from her and put them in the system, and she's sitting in prison right now for welfare fraud as well as child support fraud. Good for her. Now, when those clowns up there in Wisconsin, up in Minnesota, Excelsior, Minnesota, I decided to call up the utilities up there to see if anybody had any accounts in my name. And sure as shit, the electricity was turned on at the apartment complex. It was electric heating. It was an all-electric apartment. No gas in there, they told me. Gave them all the information. So this is not my account. I never opened this account. I don't live there. Nobody has my permission to have use my information to have any utilities, let alone any other account in my name. I had to send them all the information, the affidavit. Had to fill out a form with them. They had to send me back another form to fill out their affidavits. They closed the account out immediately. I said, okay, how long is it going to take to shut the utilities off there in my name? I said, that long. I said, what do you mean that long? It's off. I said, how's it off already? He goes, oh, we have smart meters. I just hit a switch here and shut it off remotely. Sweet. December, Minnesota, chilly with no heat. He goes, yeah, now they have to come in with a proof of ID and everything and pay a security deposit. They have to pay this bill off before they can get the power turned back on. I said, oh, the bill? What bill? How's that affect me? He goes, oh, it doesn't. You're not going to be responsible. I want a letter of exoneration. I want a letter from you on your letterhead from your department with your signature on it saying that I'm not responsible for these charges should something come up later on down the road. He said, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll get that over to you right away. And within 10 minutes, it was sitting in my email box. So thank God for that. I called around to the cable companies. Found the company that services that address. They had cable and internet on there in my name. Same thing, had to prove to them that it wasn't me. I had sent them that copy of that letter of exoneration from power companies. And look, see, even the power company, they had power on in my name. They just shut it off. They, okay, yeah, we're going to kill this right now. They cut the internet. They cut the cable service to the address. And I got them to send me a letter of exoneration as well, showing that I'm not responsible for those charges. It was a fraud. And I have that letter just in case something should come up later on down the road. To protect me, it's CYA, cover your ass. So far this year alone, I've had somebody in the last few months, I've had somebody try to open up take out a $50,000 loan in my name. I had somebody else try to open up a charge card in my name. Then, just this month, I had somebody try to open up an Amazon charge card in my name. And I also had somebody try and take out a car loan at Wells Fargo. I'm still trying to figure out how to get to them to the right department because they keep sending me to... The number they're giving me is obviously changed because now it's a number saying that it's spam. It's straight up spam. Well, if you're interested in lowering your cable bill, if you're interested in this or this or this, hit enter now, enter now, enter. It's a spam-nado. It's just a tornado of spam. Finally get through and say no to all of it to talk to an agent. And I get, oh, this is Emma, the automated assistant. How can I help you? And ask for an agent, ask for a representative, ask for an operator, anything like that. Words that normally triggers it to be transferred to a human. Oh, call this number. So I call that number. Go through the same rigmarole again, and it tells me to call the first number. So I haven't been able to get a hold of Wells Fargo about it. I'm going to have to go to a Wells Fargo branch and say, hey, MFers, what's going on here? I've already disputed it with the credit reporting agency saying, hey, I didn't apply for an auto loan at friggin' Wells Fargo. It shows up as WFB Auto, gives the address in Iowa, a P.O. box, and gives the phone number for Wells Fargo. So I'm trying to fight that and get that cleared out and get that taken off. That's pulled my score down 5 points, which I'm not happy about. But yeah, when it comes to inquiries, there are 2 types of inquiries on your credit report. You have a soft inquiry and a hard inquiry. A soft inquiry does not affect your credit score. It doesn't harm your credit at all. That's just them taking a peek behind the curtain. All they're really going to see is what your credit score is and what types of accounts you have and if they're in good standing or not. But they're not going to see the actual information behind them, balances, what the accounts are, anything like that. All they're going to say is you have 5 revolving accounts, all in good standing, 5 credit cards. You have 1 auto loan that's either in good standing, or in my case, it's a closed loan. It's showing as a bad debt charge-off, which it shouldn't. It should show as a voluntary repossession, because I was doing the right thing. And then it shows 4 installment contracts, or installment loans, 2 of them paid off, 2 of them open. Paid as agreed, paid on time, in good standing. But they don't know what the accounts are, what the balances are, or anything like that. It just gives them a quick snapshot, a quick peek at your credit profile, and helps them decide whether they want to work with you or not. Insurance companies pull this a lot. When you rent a property, they pull this. Sometimes they pull a hard file. You'll see, when you look at that, you'll see a whole smorgasbord of stuff on there under the soft inquiries for your bank, for instance. Wherever your bank at, you might see them up there a bunch of time. The credit agency will be up there a bunch of time, maybe some other banks and stuff. This is how you end up getting those letters in the mail. Hey, you've been pre-approved for this auto loan or this home rate, or you may be qualified for a rate reduction on your credit card or your mortgage interest, anything like that. That's from them just taking a peek at your credit. Your bank will do this every month. Automatically, they look at you, they pull your soft report. They just want to see how you're doing overall on your credit, and they're debating on whether they want to pre-approve you for a new card. They might give you a credit limit increase without even telling you they're doing it. All of a sudden, you'll get a letter that you're, because of good use of your credit, responsibility, blah, blah, blah. They're rewarding you by increasing your credit limit. They might double it. They might triple it. Who knows? You might all of a sudden notice that your payment's been the same every month. Every month you're paying $50 a month, $50 a month, $50 a month. Then all of a sudden it's $46 a month, $46 a month. So you're like, okay, what's going on? Why are my payments so low? Oh, you got a rate reduction. You qualified for a rate reduction. So your interest rate has been reduced, which will reduce your payments, which is good for your credit. Rate reductions are good. Now, a hard inquiry, on the other hand, this is the one that's damaging to your credit. That's when they take a good, long, hard look at your credit. They get to open up the pages, pull back the curtains, turn on the lights. They get to see, okay, you have this credit card. Here's your high credit limit. Here's your maximum usage, your highest balance. Here's your payments. You paid good. You're paying on time. Everything's right. You're using 20% of your credit there. On this credit card, boom, 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 same thing. This credit card, here's your auto loan. Here's your installment loans on, say, your, in my case, a pledge loan. It's showing that I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. It's showing them the balances. It's showing them everything. It's telling them who my accounts are through. Last usually 4 to 6 digits of the account number. Bunch of different stuff to give them a better idea to decide what to do with you. Now, the only time they really pull a hard credit report is if you're applying for a new credit card, you're applying for a car loan, a home loan, or a mortgage. Now, if you're requesting a credit limit increase, if you're asking your creditor to say, hey, I know right now I've got a $5,000 credit limit, I need to make a big purchase coming up, can you double that for me? Now they're going to do a hard credit pull. But if they just do it on their own arbitrarily every month looking at your credit profile, they might say, okay, yeah, let's increase this credit, but that's not going to affect your credit score negatively. It's going to affect the credit score positively because now you have a higher credit limit, and which brings down your utilization even more. So those are good. But if you ask them for a credit limit increase, they're going to do a hard inquiry that's going to pull your credit score down, whether you get the approved or not. If you get approved, it might pull your score down 5 points. If you don't get approved, it might bring your score down 10 points. You want to take a good look at your soft inquiries and your hard inquiries. Now, inquiries are hard to get removed from your credit profile unless you can prove they were fraud. I have the extended fraud alert on my credit profile, which makes it easier for me to prove it. I can say, hey, that's not my account, and have it removed, which I've been able to do. Like that Amazon thing, I had that removed already. The Capital One and the Money Lions, I've had those removed. Stuff on your soft inquiries, you can't remove those. They don't do you any harm. They just leave them alone. Hard inquiries stay on your credit report for up to 25 months. Then they fall off automatically if they're a valid inquiry. You want to keep your inquiries low. If they see you've got 50 inquiries in a year, that's bad. That makes you look desperate. You're trying all over the place to get credit, and that's going to result in you getting declined, and it's going to result in a lower credit score as well. The fewer inquiries you have, the better your odds are getting approved, and the higher your credit score is going to be. Now, when you pull your credit report, there's different sections you want to look at. The first section is your name history. You want to make sure your name is spelled correctly. Is your first name, middle name, and last name proper? Are they in the right order? I've had reports show up where they entered my middle name and my first name backwards. So now instead of showing ABC, it was showing CBA. So they had my middle name as my first name, was showing fraud, that I'm using a fake name. That's something that's data entry issues. That's where they're putting the information in and they screwed up when they were entering it. It might be somebody went from one company to another where they did middle name first, first name last, or vice versa. Me often, being former military, I often take right when I'm doing stuff. I usually do my last name first, then my first name. Last name, first name. Last name, first name. On just about everything I write out. And if they're not paying attention to it, they will enter it backwards. They'll enter my last name as my first name and my first name as my last name, which shows fraud. I've seen that show up on my credit report a couple times where I've had to challenge it and have it fixed. They will put my middle name on it, or at least my middle initial. I don't use my middle name or my middle initial on anything. I don't even like my middle name. And one account it had for my middle name, it said Null, N-U-L-L. Well, whoever was doing the data entry, they were supposed to enter something in there when they're putting information in the computer. They're supposed to type in my first name, my middle name, my last name, or leave the middle name blank. But those fields already have something populated in them, said null, null, null. They didn't take null out for the middle name, so it was showing null as my middle name. Had to have that removed, had to dispute to get that off. Your birth date's another thing you want to look at. Make sure it's your true, correct, and actual birth date. If they use a diver's date or a military date, it's month first, then day, rather than, or rather day first, then month, rather than month, day, year. You know, you're usually like December 15, 1776, the birth of the Second Amendment. It might be backwards. Or say July 4th, 1776, the Declaration of Independence. If you write it backwards, if you write 4 July 1776, and it's just the number 04071776, they're going to enter that as your birth date is April 7th, 1776, instead of July 4th, 1776. So it's a very simple typographical error, typo. They can hurt your credit because it's showing you're using multiple birth dates, multiple names, multiple variations of your name. Look and make sure your name is spelled properly. Look at your social security number. Make sure there's one and only one social security number for you, and that it is correct. Say the middle 2 digits on your social security number, or 76. They might have actually typed it in a 67. Kick those numbers. Now you've got a fraudulent social security card, fraudulent social security number in your credit file, and it looks like you're trying to commit credit fraud. This is going to get you shot down. This is going to hurt you big time. You got to make sure you dispute those and get that bad information out. You're going to look at your address history. Make sure everything is true and accurate, right down to the apartment number if you're living in an apartment. Anything that's wrong, dispute it. Anything you haven't lived at in years, dispute it. Hey, I'm not associated with this address. Please remove. Not associated. Please remove. You're going to look at your work history. Make sure your work history is true and accurate. There might be wrong information about your employer on there. The next line you're going to start looking at is your credit report itself, your accounts. Make sure the account information is correct. Make sure the balances are correct. Make sure you recognize the account. You might see something on there you don't recognize, which is an indication of fraud. Or somebody simply kicked two numbers in, like your social security number, and somebody else's report, somebody with a social security number close to yours, but say the last two digits were, yours is 26 and theirs is 62. They typed them in backwards, so their account information showing up on your credit report. Simple typographical error. Make sure, hey, this isn't my account. I have no knowledge of this account. Dispute it. They'll send a letter to the credit agency or whoever issued it, and they've got 30 days to respond to update it or remove it. If they don't respond within 30 days, it automatically comes off. You want to look at, like I said, your employment history. Look at all your account history. Make sure you recognize every single account on there. Now you're going to look at all your hard inquiries. See what you have actually, what hard inquiries are made against your credit file. See what you recognize. Anything on there you don't recognize or you didn't do yourself, make sure you dispute that immediately. Have it removed, because that's going to hurt your credit. The only way you can remove those again is if it's fraud or it's an error. You have to dispute those, saying, I never applied for this account. I don't know why they're looking at me. This must be fraud. Or an error. They might have me confused with somebody with a similar or same name. There's a guy in Las Vegas where I live with my same first name, same middle name. My middle name is Edward, E-D-W-A-R-D. His middle name is Edwin, E-D-W-I-N. So I have an A, he has an I. But when they just punch in like first name, middle initial, and last name, I've been pulled out of my car at gunpoint by Metro Police because they thought I was him. Because the name is so close and we're both born 72 apparently. Our birthdays are very close. And he's probably the black guy that the hotel had the problem with. Be careful. Be very vigilant with your credit reports. Look at your soft inquiries. Like I said, these aren't as important, but if you see stuff on there you don't recognize, it could be legitimate consumer reporting agencies sharing your information with different lenders or creditors to see if you meet their pre-approval guidelines to have an account with them. It could be totally innocent, but it could also be an indicator of potential fraud. So keep an eye on those. Those you're not going to be able to dispute. You're not going to be able to get rid of them, but they're going to have the number of the company on there, so you can call them up and say, hey, I see you pulled my credit report. What's going on here? I haven't applied for any accounts with you guys. And make sure nothing wasn't open in your name. Make sure that sometimes they might just open up a account in your name that doesn't report to the credit agencies, and then a little later on they default on, let's say they take a loan out or a vehicle or something, it's not reporting to the credit agencies until you default on the loan. Now it might be a soft credit inquiry from 3 years ago that you missed. Now this year, because you missed it, you have a debt collector on your credit report. If you had paid attention to your soft history inquiries, you would have caught it sooner. And you wouldn't have had the harm and the damage done to your reputation, and you won't be in the fight of your life to clear it up. Now, how do you go about putting a hawk alert or a fraud alert or a consumer statement on your credit report? Well, first, you need to pull your credit report. You need to sign up for an account at the 3 credit reporting agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. The accounts are free. It used to be you're only allowed to pull 1 credit report a year free from the 3 bureaus. But because of COVID, they're now allowing you to pull it once a week. Do it, examine it, because ID theft and account hijacking is an all-time high right now, and it's only growing more and more out of control because of COVID. Hold on, I gotta turn my AC on. So pull this information, look at it, see what's going on, check it out, take real good looks at it. Now, well, I forgot what I was talking about there. Holy hammer. So about looking at your credit reports, pulling your credit reports, examining everything. Yeah. Wow, I can't believe I just lost a train of thought when I went to start my engine so I can get the AC going. You want to get the accounts there. Get the free accounts. There are accounts you can sign up for credit monitoring. You don't need to do that. Just sign up for the free accounts. And every time you log in, they're going to ask you to upgrade. Just go, no, keep current free account. That way you have access to your credit report. To freeze your account, on the other hand, you're probably going to have to subscribe to their credit monitoring. It could be $20 a month. It could be $5 a month. Depends on the program and the credit reporting agency. But on your straight account, you go down to your settings, go over to where it says consumer statement. They'll have a bunch of canned messages in there that are already pre-typed. You just select the ones you want. Do not confuse me with a person or a relative with the same or similar name. You could be a junior and you could have the third behind you, or a senior for your father or your mother, what have you, and can be very easily confused. I had an account at one time with Sears the same time my father did, and somehow they confused our two accounts, and one of my charges showed up on his account, and he freaked. But I had to call him up and get it straightened out and have make sure it was moved to my account, because I mean somehow they put my charges on his account. I think it was for a video camera. But it was not a good situation. Now, one of the things you want to put on there is, before you extend any credit lines or trade lines or loans or accounts or anything like that, however they have it worded in the particular system, please put in your cell phone number, the number that you have with you 24/7, for validation and verification. Now, anybody that opens up the account, that's going to pop up right in front of the screen, consumer statement or fraud alert. They're required to go through, read that, and if your information's there, they're going to do one of two things. They're either going to call you direct, or they're going to use a multiple guest system, where it pulls information from multiple consumer reports and your credit reports, and builds a list of 5 or 6 questions, all multiple guests. A question could be like, in 1989, when you lived on Main Street, what color was the Ford that you had registered to your name? Red, blue, black, none of the above. Or, I've never lived in Main Street, or whatever the street name is. They might ask you, what street is associated with the address 123? They'll give you like Main Street, Enterprise Drive, Industrial Park Drive, just random names. Or none of the above. So you're going to look at it, okay, well, I used to live at 123 Statutory Drive. Statutory Drive's not on there, so none of the above. Or, I've never lived in any address with 123 in it, so it doesn't apply, none of the above. What hurt me one time on a Radio Shack account, when Radio Shack was still big, I was going through the review process with them. I filled out the application there, and the tech entered it right there on the computer while I was standing at the counter. A couple seconds later, the phone rang, and it was a representative from the bank wanting to know if I was still standing there and to talk to me to verify the information. We went through everything, and what hurt me, they come to a street that I used to live on. When you lived on such and such a street in 1998, what make a vehicle did you have registered to you at that address? Ford, Chevy, or a Subaru? Well, I had a Ford and a Subaru registered to me at that address. I'm like, well, I mean, I had two of those there. I had both a Ford and a Subaru there. So it could be either one of those. Well, we only need one. It doesn't tell us both of them. It just says one of those vehicles. You have to pick one. I said, okay, I guess the Ford. computer said that was the wrong answer. The computer was looking specifically for the Subaru. It ignored that I had 2 vehicles registered there. It ignored that there were a possibility of 2 correct answers there. And because of that, they declined the application and ended the call. I got it right, but as far as the system is concerned, I got it wrong, and that was automatic denial. If somebody's done enough research on you, they can probably answer most of these questions. I said there are multiple guesses. They've got a 33% chance of getting it right on each question. But when you're talking 5 or 6 questions, it reduces the chances of them just guessing your information and getting it all right. But they're still supposed to call you anyways. Well, in this case, she called the store, and the store handed the phone to me, and it was an automatic denial because I had 2 different vehicles registered at the same address in the same year, but they only wanted to know one of them. They ask you questions like that. So it's very important you use your cell phone number, a number that you're going to answer. They should call you within minutes of the application be filed. Sometimes they're over inundated with applications, and it might be a day or 2 before they call you. But take the call, answer the questions, and if it's an account you did not apply for, say, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not my account. I didn't fill that application out. It's fraud. Oh my God, what do I do? And they'll ask you a few questions, and it'll be denied. And you need to ask them, you obviously pulled a hard credit report on me because you're looking at my phone number, you're looking at my consumer statement to call me. I need to have that. Do not put that on my credit report. Please delete that from my credit report, and you're going to go right to the credit bureaus. Ask them, which credit bureau do you guys report your hard inquiries to? They might tell you all of them. They might say TransUnion or Equifax, whatever. You're going to call them directly, and I'll put their direct phone numbers on that affiliates page for you guys to make it easier for you. You're going to call them and dispute it with them immediately. It might take a few minutes. It might take up to 45 days for that to come off of your credit report. But get it off as quickly as you can. That might even be 60 days. You reply, say, the 10th. They send a letter to the creditor saying, hey, this guy's disputing this inquiry that you guys made. Is it legitimate? They have 30 days, so they have until the 10th of the following month to reply, but they might not get that letter until the 20th. So from the time they receive it, the 20th, they have until the 20th of the next month to respond. They respond to it. It might take 5 or 10 days for it to get back to the credit reporting agency and for them to process it. So now you're on the 2nd of the next month. So you already passed the reporting date, so it won't show until the 3rd month. See how that works? A pain in the neck, though. Wow. At this company, you're not allowed to put decals or stickers on the trucks yourself, but I'm seeing more and more trucks with a bunch of decals and stickers on them. I mean, not that I care. I mean, I got my YouTube channel name on my doors. But yeah, I got a truck here with flags all over it. I got another truck over there that's got the guy's CB handle on it. I seen somebody else earlier that's got not American flag, Army flags on it. Depends on what's on it, I guess, whether it'll let it stay or not. And the other thing I was going to talk about was credit profile freezes, where you call them up or you go through the app if you're subscribing to the monitoring service and say, I want to freeze my account. I want to freeze my credit file. If your credit file is frozen, nobody can add to it. Nobody can even pull that and look at your credit report. Then they ask you, oh, hey, is your credit report frozen by chance? Because we can't see it. It's showing locked. You need to unlock it or unfreeze it so we can look at it. So you do that. Tell them, okay, tell me when you're done. So right after they do it, freeze it and lock it so nobody else can jump in there. This is another added level of security you can add yourself. I mean, there are monitoring programs out there like LifeLock. LifeLock is good, but it's also bad. I mean, they're going to show as a hard inquiry on your credit report because they got to take a look at everything and then process everything themselves. And they'll monitor, they'll look at your credit file every day to to see if there's any changes or anything added to it. And then they'll notify you, hey, did you open this account? You say no, then they'll do all the work for you. They'll file the disputes and everything for you. And if a loan or an account's opened up where money was withdrawn from it, that's where they cover you up to $1 million. If you end up having to go to court to fight it, which sometimes you will, they provide lawyers and experts and everything to fight for your case, and hopefully you win. There's a chance you could still lose. So you got to be careful with that stuff. Now, some of the scams that are going on around out there, like the Payday collections loan scam, or Payday loan collection scam, I should say. You'll get a phone call out of the blue from somebody claiming to be a debt collector that you owe a Payday loan company money to, and they're there to collect. Well, the most recent one I had was it Quicken Loans. I guess somebody called from me saying, oh yeah, well, what he did was illegal to begin with. He sent me a text message with fraudulent information in it. Under the FDCRA, the Fair Debt Collections and Practices Reporting Act, there are certain things a debt collector can and cannot do, certain things they can and cannot say. They cannot lie to you, try and trick you or deceive you in any way to get information out of you or to get you to pay them. And I got this text message one day. Dear, had my name. You have a secure document delivery scheduled for, and gave an address. I haven't lived at it in a couple of years. You must be personally present on such and such a day between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. It was a Saturday. You must be personally present with your ID to sign for these documents. If you cannot be present at that time, call Account Services Incorporated at, and gave an 800 number. So my first thought is, I'm in the transportation industry. I have my own authority. I can broker loads. To take loads from shipping companies and assign them to trucking companies, you need to have authority. You have to have permission from the federal government. To drive a tractor trailer, to pick up loads and deliver loads, you must have permission from the federal government. You must have your transportation authority. Your motor carrier's authority is your MC number. Then you get your DOT number as well. When you get these authorities, you have to file what's called a BOC 3, a BOC 3. And a lot of times when you file and form a corporation, you need to do the same thing as well. You need to have a registered agent in the state where your corporation's filed at. I'll go over more of this when I am doing the next video on business entities and business credit. But basically, it works like this. It's so you can't say you never got a subpoena or you never got a governmental order or something like that. If you're getting sued in federal court, for instance, and they have the U.S. Marshals serve you the subpoena to be in court that you're being sued, the judge is going to ask the marshal, did you serve Bear here his subpoena? Because he's saying he never got it. And that marshal is going to say, yes, sir, I did. I personally served him at such and such a date, such and such a time, at such and such a location. And here's his signature acknowledging receipt of said subpoena. You're toasted. You can't say, well, but did he serve me personally? I didn't see that. He didn't serve me personally. He must have gave it to somebody else at my office by mistake, and they forgot to forward it on to me. That's where they have you sign. But to add an additional layer to that, you have to go through a registered agent. So the judge is going to say to the marshal, Mr. Marshal, did you serve Bear the subpoena? He's going to look at his notes and, actually, no, sir, I served as registered agent, so-and-so, with such and such a corporation at this address, this date, this time. Here's his signature. Judge will say, okay, thank you. Mr. Registered Service Agent, did Marshal Mann here serve you on behalf of Bear? Yes, sir, he did. At the date and time and location he said. It's all right here in my notes. Did you forward that subpoena to Bear? And I say, Yes, sir. I personally handed it to the defendant at his office, located at blah, 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 date, time, and here's a signature acknowledging you received it. Now you can't get out of it. You can't say, well, no, I didn't, because now there's two people saying that you were served. But he might say, no, Your Honor, I did not serve him directly. He wasn't available. His secretary signed for it. Her name is Jolene, the receptionist, and she should have forwarded it on to him. He's going to say, okay, thank you, Mr. Registered Service Agent. Madam Jolene, the receptionist, did the service agent serve you those papers? Yes, sir, he did. Did you pass them on to Bear? I put it on his desk. I don't know if you've seen it or not. Or I lost it in a shuffle, or yes, I did. Now, if she says she put it on my desk and you don't know whether I've seen it or not, well, now I have affirmative. I never saw it. She didn't put it in my hand, so I didn't know it was there. It must have got lost and mixed up with other papers. I didn't see it. Now you have a little bit of an affirmative defense, but when she says, yes, I personally handed it to him, now you're toast. Now you have three different people saying you were served that official notice or that subpoena, whatever the case may be, and you're toast. Now you just lied to the court. Now you just committed perjury. Now you're going to hang. First going to hang you out to dry, and then they're going to hang you. So with the corporation, we have to have that. So I assume that's what it was. I'm like, well, it's a new authority. Maybe I screwed something up on my paperwork, and they're trying to get me to update it or something like that. So, of course, I call this Account Services number. Account Services Incorporated. Yeah, hello, this is the Logistical Bear here. I just got a text message from you guys that you have a secure document delivery for me. I'm not at that address anymore, and I'm on the road. I'm not going to be home for another 2 or 3 months. What can I help you with? What's the issue? And he's like, well, I need to verify who I'm talking to. And I went through a little bit of the verification process, not all of it. I just answered the basic questions. He's like, okay, well, I need to read this to you first. And then he went into the Fair Debt Collections and Practices Act script that all debt collectors are required to read you. You know, I'm so-and-so from ABC Debt Collections, or in this case, it was Account Services Incorporated. This is an attempt to collect the debt. Any information gathered will be used for that purpose. It's like, okay, what debt are you talking about? Oh, what's going on here? Why am I getting contacted by Account Services? What's going on? Well, we were assigned an account by Quicken Loans for a Payday loan that you took out for $500 and never repaid. No, I didn't. It's like, excuse me? I don't do payday loans. Never have, never will. I've never taken that loan out. Look, bud, I was a victim of ID theft. This is not my account. Please mail me authorization on it. You said it was from Quicken Loans. Thank you for not authorization. Mail me the verification of the loan, validation of the loan. And in the meantime, I'm going to reach out to Quicken Loans, find out what's going on, because I don't have an account with them. Thank you for bringing this to my attention, and please do not call me again. Have a good day, and I extricated myself from the call. Got online, got the number for Quicken Loans, called them up. Hey, Quicken Loans, how you doing? Bear here. I just got a phone call from this debt collection agency saying I owe you guys for a payday loan. They went and they looked it up and said, we have no record of the loan. Well, it was probably a scam. Don't fall for it. It was a scam. So I figured as much, but I just wanted to confirm. Because the guy did already get me to call him back was illegal to begin with. Because the way he worded that text, he didn't say we're a debt collector, we need to talk to you. He said, you have a secure document delivery, you have to be there presently or call this number. We use trickery and deceit to get me to call him, which is a violation of the Fair Debt Collections and Practices Act. I'm like, okay, thank you, have a good day, and I'm disconnected. Well, a little while, 2 days go by, I don't hear anything from him. Third day rolls around, my phone starts blowing up. It's him again, demanding that I pay him immediately or I'm going to get arrested and he's going to seize my assets. He's going to send me to jail. He's going to take my bank accounts, which are all illegal statements. I said, let me ask you this, Bubba. When did I take this loan out? When did I supposedly take this loan out that I know nothing about? It was December. I was looking at the wrong thing. It was December 2003. December 2003. It is now 2021. That makes it a little older than 7 years. Oh, no, wait a minute. We're both in Nevada. You're calling me from a Nevada number. And I live in Nevada, so it's over 3 years old because in Nevada, those are promissory notes, and they are only valid for 3 years. So you're past the 0 date anyways, pal, so you're SOL. You're not getting anything out of me. You shouldn't be contacting me on a debt this old. It's a zombie debt. I want nothing to do with it. It's not mine. I told you before I was looking at my deals. Well, it was a discharge in 2015. That means we have 7 years to come after you. No, you don't. You're saying the loan discharge or the debt discharge. Well, that implies that I filed for bankruptcy in 2015. I've never filed for bankruptcy in my life. I've thought about it. I've come close, but I've never done it. So you're lying there. I mean, dude, you know how many sections of the FDCRA you've just violated? And he starts cursing me out. I said, there you go again. I said, bud, you're not getting anything out of me. You're wasting your time. You're a scam artist. I've already talked to Quicken Loans. They have no record of this loan. They have never even heard of your company. Bug off. And we went back and forth. I hung up on him. A couple days later, he starts blowing up my phone again. I mean, non-stop. He started calling me at 6 a.m. The whole day on a Sunday of all days. Well, they, by law, can only call you between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. your time, Monday through Friday, excluding holidays. So he's calling me on a Sunday. He's calling me at 6 a.m. Illegal right across the board. I mean, like every 15 minutes, my phone was blowing up. I finally answered, what the F do you want? I told you not to fucking call me again. And he gets real pissy with me, demanding I pay him. I said, dude, I'm not paying you. You're a fraud. You're a scam artist. I've forwarded this information already to the FBI. Do not call me again. I'm blocking your numbers, and that was it. Now I'm pissed. So I'm like, let me look up this friggin' Account Services Incorporated. So I look them up, and there, lo and behold, there is a actual debt collection company, Account Services Incorporated. Please do not call them, guys. Please do not harass them. I called them up. Very nice older woman I spoke to, and I asked her, I said, ma'am, I'm just curious, do you have any offices in McGill, Nevada, which is northern Nevada, where my caller ID was showing this guy was calling from? She's like, no, sir, we only handle the Tri-County area, the 3 counties around us out here. We're based in San Antonio, Texas. We only work in this area. Why, do you need a debt collection agency up there? Is there somebody, I might be able to recommend somebody for you? I said, no, I got this clown calling me, claims he's from you guys, and he's trying to collect the debt. And she said, oh, God, what's he doing now? Tell me. And I told her, she said, no, sweetheart, that he can't do that. That's illegal. I mean, we don't use those taxes. That's not allowed. I said, oh, I know it's not. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention because I didn't think you knew he was using a name. She said, I tell you, we had a guy call us up demanding we pay him $1 million to stop using our company name when he's calling people up. And we haven't been able to track his phone number down because he's using spoofed phone numbers or VoIP numbers, and they never answer them. I said, well, I've got a phone number right here from the text message that they will answer, and I gave her the number. Don't know whatever happened to it. Hopefully they got this guy. They were able to track it down, but who knows. But it was definitely an American. It wasn't one of these foreigners on the phone. Somebody's first language was definitely American English. So yeah, I'm done with him. He's gone. I haven't heard from him anymore. I don't know what they were able to do with him, but apparently he's been shut down. Hopefully for good. Or he knows he's not getting anything from me. He's wasting his time, so he's moving on to the next person he's going to try and sucker. That's why I'm putting this out there, because I want you guys to be aware of this. So you don't fall for his crap or anybody else's crap like him. Some of the other scams, I get emails all the time from supposedly from Amazon. My gift is shipped, or it's scheduled to ship on tomorrow or something, to some made-up person at a made-up address in another state. Your account has successfully been charged $1,499.99 for this 75-inch plasma flat screen ultra high definition TV. To make changes to the order or to cancel, call this number. Well, they want you to call the number and they will run a scam on you. They will try and get you to, the same thing with the Norton antivirus scam. Norton refund scam. There's a bunch of different versions of this scam out there. What basically comes down to it is they want you call the number. It might look like a local number. It might be an 800 number, but they're using a VoIP. They have somebody here in the States. They get these accounts for them and then give them access to it overseas. Well, the VoIP, you can use that from anywhere. While I was stationed overseas, I don't know if you guys remember when Magic Jack was around. It was a USB stick that you plug a phone line into, you plug into your computer, and you had a local number. I used that while I was overseas, so it wouldn't cost my friends and family an arm and a leg to call me or for me to call them. It was a local call, even though I was in another country. So it's one of these type of programs. Or they're buying the Vonage kits here and mailing them to their whoever they're working for overseas. And they'll try and get you to do a couple of things. They'll want you to download a program like TeamViewer, PC Anywhere, AnyDesk. One of these remote control and remote viewing programs that you connect to them to the internet and they can take full control of your computer. They try and get you to log on to the bank account while they're watching you so they can hijack your account details. Or they'll pop up a form that you have to fill out, the refund form, for the amount of, okay, well, how much was your refund for? $1,499.99. Okay, type that in here and then hit submit. And they'll be waiting with their finger over the 9 or the 0. As soon as you hit that last number, they'll hit it like 1 or 2 more times to make it now. And instead of $1,400 is now $14,000 or $140,000. They click it and then they'll lose their shit. Oh my God, madam. What did you do? Why did you put that much money on there for? Why'd you take that much money? You're stealing from my company. Oh my God, I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to lose my job. My family's going to starve. Please, you got to give that money back. They sound panically, try and give you a sense of urgency. And you look at it, and it looks like you might have actually made a mistake and hit an extra 9. Or hit the 99 twice and extended out the amount of the refund. Now they got you thinking this money's being transferred into your bank account. Well, how do I give it back to you? Well, our account's not set up for security purposes. We can't take the money back from your account. You have to. Is there a Walmart or a Walgreens near you? Go get Google gift card. Go get Google Play cards for this amount of money. Then come back and give me those card numbers so I can. That's the only way we can get the money back. Once you give them those card numbers, there's no way to get the money back. You've just been scammed. You've been ripped off. Another thing that'll happen is they will buy a legitimate Google ad account where, when you're surfing the web and those little messages pop up on the side for different products and what have you. They might have one of those set up where it gets approved, but because they can edit their ad and make changes to it after it's been approved, they will inject malicious code into it where it will make a pop-up appear on your screen. You'll hear an alarm go off. It'll be a computer-recorded voice. Warning, a virus has been detected. Your computer has been locked to protect your files. Please call Norton Antivirus or call Microsoft at whatever the number is to clean your computer and recover your files. And you're hitting exit, you're hitting EX, you're hitting escape. Nothing's happening because it's got your screen locked. So you think your computer's legitimately locked by Microsoft or your antivirus or something. You call the number up. My father was, God bless his soul, fell for this not too long ago, and they got him for a few $100s. He didn't know what was going on, so he called the number. And it's thank you for calling customer support. How can I help you? This is Microsoft customer support. And the guy's obviously from India. He's Indian. I don't mean, ooh, I mean, thank you for calling customer service. How may I help you, sir? Oh, no, please, Mr. Homer Simpson, sir. Do not drink from a celebrity machine. That kind of Indian. I'm not trying to be racist. I'm trying to be funny. So English is obviously not the first language. And thank you for calling customer service. This is Bob. How can I help you? Your name's not Bob. It's probably Subdeep or something along those lines. Well, they'll try and get you to download one of these remote viewing programs so they can get access to your computer. They will, okay, well, look here, see this scan here? They will bring up a network scan on your computer, which you can do yourself. You enter the command codes in, and it shows just a scrolling list of everything on your computer, everything that's working in the background. There's hundreds or even thousands of apps and programs running in the background 24/7 nonstop on your computer. It shows you web traffic, back information going and coming through the internet, which a lot of it is them accessing your computer. See all this right here? These are all hackers right now that are on your computer. They're trying to, these are hackers, ma'am, or sir. These are hackers. These are hackers. They're trying to steal all your information. They're going to get your bank account and everything. We need to fix this out. It's going to cost you $499. What's your credit card number? Or what's your bank account number? Now you're screwed if you fall for it. Because now you've just given the bank account number and they are going to empty your bank account. My father, bless his soul, fell for this, didn't know it. He called me up like right after. He's like, something, I'm thinking about something didn't seem right about that. This is what was going on. I'm like, oh God, you just got scammed. This is what you're gonna need to do right now. Hang up with me, call your credit cards, close all your credit cards right now. Tell them your account's been compromised. Stop any charges you don't recognize. Have them issue you new cards. Get in your car, go straight to your bank, close your bank account, open new bank accounts, credit card accounts, checking account, saving account, everything that you have with the bank. You gave them remote access to your computer. You logged into your bank account while you were there. So now they have access to all your information. I said, before you, as soon as you hang up with me, before you call the bank, change the passwords on your banking accounts and your credit card accounts. Because if they got into your computer, they were able to access the password file, because I know he saves all his passwords on his computer and the autofill thing. So they have access to all his account logins, all his account passwords, everything. They were managed to steal a couple $100 from him on the call, and then they got a couple $1,000 more out of his accounts before he was able to shut them down. He's got most of it back, not all, but most of it he was able to recover through the fraud protection on his accounts. But if he hadn't called me right away and told him what to do, I shudder to imagine what that would have done to him. Now, I know I said I would tell you guys from the information I got from a scammer, a professional scam artist, how steps they use to hijack your accounts or steal your identity. You guys give this information out freely and don't realize you're doing it. When you get on Facebook and you enter these memes where it says, you remember your high school mascot, or what was your favorite car, or your stripper name is the color of your shirt, the month you were born, and your favorite food. Or they'll ask you something where they'll try and get you to reveal your school name, or your pet's name, your cousin's. Oh, you remember your first crush or your first lover? Do you remember where you went to school at? What city are you in? Different things like that. And people answer these questions without thinking anything about it. The problem is these memes have hashtags associated with them, which allows whoever posted it originally to track where that goes. See everybody that's responded, everybody that shared it, every time it's been reposted. They click on a hashtag link and they just follow it through. And they collect the answers. Now they've got the answers to the questions. They've got your Facebook link to your profile. And they might have 5 or 6 different memes out there that they're hoping people will answer. And the more of those you answer that they control, the more access you're giving them. Because those answers, think about it a minute. Think about it. When you set up your email account, when you set up your Facebook account, when you set up your online banking for your credit cards or your bank accounts, you went through a password recovery setup where they have a bunch of canned questions they ask you. What was your high school mascot? What was the name of your first crush? What street did you grow up on? What school did you go to? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? What was your pet's name? You just gave these answers away in the memes without realizing what you were doing. You were giving away the keys to the castle, guys. You were giving them access to everything. So now they got bots, the little computer programs that follow this information, that categorize all this information. And the more that your name shows up and the more information you populate in there, it gives them closer and closer to being able to hijack your accounts. Now say you answer 7 or 8 of their memes, not knowing it, not knowing that they're from the same person, because they might look like they're coming from different friends or family or what have you, or just being passed around. They build this little database. They go into your Facebook profile, and a lot of people leave this stuff public. Now they've got your phone number, they've got the city you were born in, the city you grew up in, the city you live, where you work, your email address. They go to your email account. They'll do a password. Oh, I forgot password. And they will use those messages, those memes. They'll see which questions in the memes match up with the password recovery questions. Then they will enter that information in an attempt to hijack your email address. Now they're in your email account. Now they're going to look through your email. They're going to start looking for anything to do with banking or credit cards or statements or anything like that. Well, now they know you have an account at Chase Bank, because there's your monthly statement from Chase. They open it up, they look at it, wow, you've got $150,000 in your bank account. You must be doing well. They got part of your bank account number, they've got part of your routing number. They're going to go to Chase Bank. They're going to punch in your email address. They're going to do the password recovery or password reset thing. They're going to answer those questions, and they're going to watch your email address, because it's going to email you a password reset link for your email account, for your bank account. They'll watch for that to come in, they'll click on the link, and then they'll delete the message, and then they'll delete the message again from your deleted file so you never see it. They go in, they reset or recover your password. Now they have access to your bank account for however long you give them. If you don't log into your bank account regularly, at least once a day, something you want to make sure you do, log into your bank account, your credit card accounts, all this at least once a day. If all of a sudden it's not accepting your password, do a password recovery and call the bank immediately. Hey, did somebody reset my password yesterday or earlier today? Well, yeah, well, it wasn't me. My email address was hijacked. I didn't do this. And look at your accounts. It might be too late. They might have already transferred all your money out to another account. They might have already made charges against your account through some type of program that doesn't allow chargebacks, where the bank can't recover the money. So you got to be real careful there. This is something I got directly from a guy a few years back that I had to go pick up in the Dallas, Texas area, Dallas-Fort Worth area. They skipped bound in Missouri on his third case of aggravated identity theft. He's getting hit with habitual offender. He's going away. He's doing 20 to life as a habitual offender. And he didn't care. He was just sharing the information with me freely in regular conversation while we're going on the road. First, I'm thinking, well, this sounds like a conspiracy. Then I got thinking about it and realized, well, yeah, I do see those memes all the time. Back then, MySpace was big, so it was being done there. Now they do it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever else social media platform is out there. They build these databases on people with little programs called bots, and you don't even know it's being done. You don't even see it coming until it's too late, until it hits you square in the jaw. Now, I said I'd talk to you guys a little bit about debt collection. I know we're over 2 hours now on the video. Like I said, it's going to be a movie, not a video. If you guys have made it this far, please comment in the description, leave a comment below saying, hey, we made it to the debt collectors. Dealing with debt collectors. Say something. Let me know you've made it this far. If you find this video to be informative, if not, it's a little entertaining, which at this point it's probably not. I'm not as funny as I think I am. Leave a comment. Let me know. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up button. Hit that like button. YouTube loves it when people beat the piss out of that like button. Take it off the screen, run out back, get a hammer, take it to the woodshed, beat it like a red-headed stepchild, then bring it back and put it on the computer. We want those thumbs up. We love those thumbs up. Don't forget to ring that notification bell and select all so you know when I release new videos. This video will be coming out on Memorial Day, and thank you to all my brothers and sisters in arms, especially those of you that have made the ultimate sacrifice. You guys made America what it is today. Well, I shouldn't say that. America's upside down. To my brothers and sisters that I've known personally that never came home, thank you for your service. For all those that I didn't know that never came home or are still out there, thank you for your service. It is truly 100% love for you guys. I mean, I truly respect you guys. I mean, I'm a veteran myself. I know what a lot of you guys are going through or have gone through, and I love you, every one of you. But yeah, this video will be coming out at 4 p.m. May 31st, Las Vegas time, which is tomorrow. So I got to get this uploaded here in a little bit. The next video will come out on June 14th, and then the final video will come out June 28th. Oh, now I forgot what I was saying. What was I babbling about? Give me a second, it'll come back to me. Give me a second. So, dealing with debt collectors. First and foremost, don't. You have no contractual obligation to a debt collector. Your debt, if it's a valid, legitimate debt, is between you and the original creditor or lender, not the debt collector that they sold it to. You have no obligation to pay them. Unless you screw up or you make a simple mistake when they call you and say, oh, I thought I paid that off, or I forgot about that account. These guys are trying to manipulate you to get you to give the responses that they want and they need to give them, haha, we got you. If you get a phone call from a debt collector, they're going to want you to verify certain information. They want to validate your information. Don't do it. Say, well, I'll tell you what, you give me the information and I'll tell you if it's the right information or not. But I'm not answering any of your questions. Why are you even calling me? Well, who do I owe that debt to? Supposedly, who do I supposedly owe that debt to? Don't say who do I owe, say who do I supposedly owe. Or what account are you talking about? I have no knowledge of that account. Get as much information from them as you can. You want to know the date of the account, when it was opened, when it was closed, who the lender was or the creditor was. And you're going to tell them, okay, well, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'm going to reach out to them right now and get this straightened out. I have no knowledge of this account. Again, thanks for bringing this to my attention. Do not call me again. If you want to contact me again, do so by mail. And I want validation. I want you to prove that this is my debt. Send me something with my wet signature on it. Something with your wet signature means an application or contract, something that you personally signed, that you wrote your name on. But if you end up writing back to them, or you're writing to one of the collections, the credit bureaus, never sign it. Never put your signature on anything. Some debt collectors will transpose your signature from your letter disputing it to a credit application or contract. And you can't say, well, that's not my signature, because it is your signature. They just copied it over. You want them to send you something with your wet signature on things, something with your signature. And there are debt collectors out there that will do that. Zombie debt collectors or scams like the guy I mentioned earlier. Never talk to them on the phone. Never give them any information. Never say yes, or I forgot about that account, or I was sick back then, I thought that got taken care of, or that was part of my divorce, that was part of the settlement. Never give them anything that allows them to say, okay, it is your debt, you do own it. Especially if it's a debt that's past its zero date. Zero date, like I mentioned earlier about statutes of limitations, how long they have to enforce the debt and take legal action and collect on it. In most states, it's 7 years, as I've said time and time again. But once you say, oh, I thought I paid for that, or I paid that off, or I forgot about that, now you've just re-aged the debt. You've validated the debt. Now they have 7 years, in most cases, from that date that they talked to you on the phone and recorded your conversation. Even if you said, I do not consent to monitoring or recording, they're going to leave that part out when they take you to court. Now you've just admitted it's your debt. Now they've got 7 years in most cases to come after you and sue you for that money, or to put it on your credit profile and harass you relentlessly. you only want to call and deal directly with the original lender. And if it is a legitimate debt, I mean, you could have legitimately forgotten about something. You could have thought, oh, I paid that off, and you ended up owing like a $30 interest payment that you didn't realize you owed, and now you got that $30 has been sitting there collecting interest over the last 2 or 3 years, and now that $30 is $350. You might want to go into try and negotiate it with them. Well, I mean, I honestly thought I had that all paid off. You know, I mean, I paid it down to a zero balance. I didn't know there was that. Didn't realize there was that pending interest charge. So I thought I closed the account, paid in full, and good standing. Is there any chance we can get you guys to waive? Do me a favor. I'm in. Times are tough right now with COVID and everything, or what have you. Whatever your reasoning is, I can't really afford that right now. Are you guys willing to just forgive the late fees and the interest on it, and I'll pay you the original balance of the $30, $35, whatever it was, today? Or would you guys settle for 10% of the total balance? Well, $350, 10% of it's $35. That's what you owed to begin with. They might accept that settlement offer. They might be willing to work with you and waive some, if not all, of the late payments, fees, and interest fees and stuff. But you got to make sure you get in writing the agreement, and any agreement that you have on a settlement offer must include that they remove it from your credit report. That the whole thing be removed. That any negatives be removed from your credit report. Especially if that debt collector is on your credit report already, which it shouldn't be yet. Make sure that's removed. Because they got to talk to you first. They got to give you amount of time to respond and dispute with them before they can post it on your credit report. So if you turn around and get a hold of the original creditor right away, make arrangements with them, they got to cancel it with the other guy, and now if nothing's going to show up on your credit report, but you need to make sure that you have an agreement in writing saying that they will remove it within 60 days. You got to give them time, because if it's the middle of the month, it could take time for them to report it, to get it through their system, and it might be another 30 days from them that it finally shows up and reflects in your credit profile. So it could take 60 days for it to actually show up that on your credit report that it's been removed. So keep that in mind. But yeah, you never want to talk to debt collectors, especially on the phone. You never want to send them anything with your signature on it. How easy is it for them to transpose your signature? They will put a piece of paper over top of your letter, so the only thing left showing is your signature. They'll tape it down. They'll make a photocopy of it. Then they'll break out the whiteout, and that little black line between where the pages overlap, they will white that out. They'll make another photocopy of it. So now it's just a blank page with your signature on the bottom of it. Then they'll use a transparency sheet, just a clear piece of plastic that you can print on. Load that into the printer. They will make a copy of that sheet with your signature on it. Now it's on the transparency. They lay the transparency over top of what you supposedly signed and print it. Copy it. Now it comes out and it looks like, because they position that right where they want your signature on there, or right where they want the signature to be on the contract, now it looks like you just signed the contract. That's how easy it is. It takes a couple minutes, but if they're going to get money out of you, especially thousands of dollars, they're going to do it. Some of these crooked bastards, some of these scam artists, these criminals. These, I'm trying to keep it clean, trying to be polite. So I'm not going to call them what I really think about them. But you got to be careful. Really, really careful. These debt collectors will do this to you. I mean, look at that guy that I talked about earlier, the collector for that bogus hotel charge. Presented a paper, a signature that wasn't mine, trying to claim that that's your signature. No, it's not. Hi guys, I mean, this video is over 2 hours now. I mean, wow, this boy can talk sometimes. So yeah, anybody that stuck around, thank you so much. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have a channel. Don't forget to tune in 2 weeks on June 14th for the next video That'll be 2 weeks from today. It'll go live at 4 p.m. Las Vegas time. And in that video, I'm going to go more in depth. I know I talked before about setting up a business, but I'm going to go more in depth into setting up a business properly. I'm going to get into business credit. Now, business credit, unlike personal credit, is not as regulated. It's much easier to fix and clean, and you can add stuff yourself to your business credit as long as it's legitimate. Anything you can buy with your personal credit, you can buy in your business credit. You can buy property, you can buy vehicles. There's a lot of stuff you can buy. Just keep in mind there are caveats to it. You cannot put it in your name. Say you want to buy a brand new Harley Davidson. You haven't got $15,000 right now to pay for it. You go to take out a loan in your name, they want to charge you 28% interest. You go take the loan out in your business credit name, and your business name is in your business credit, and put the bike in the business's name, now your interest rate might be 0.5% interest. Much better loan rates. You get better loan rates and lower rates and higher limits off of your business credit than you will off of your personal credit. So you pay the bike off $10,000, $15,000. If you do it right, you can pay that off in a year and a half. Once it's paid off and you have the title in the hand, in the company's name, sell it to yourself for $1. Of course, when you go to register it yourself, you're going to have to pay taxes on it again, just like you did with the business. But that little additional vehicle tax you're going to pay is going to be a lot less, thousands and thousands less than you'd be paying in interest if you put it in your own personal name. But keep in mind, the big caveat to it is if you get sued or something happens, your company gets shut down and they seize the assets, as long as that bike or whatever that vehicle is in the company name, they can seize it and take it away from you. If something happens, there's a major lawsuit for a accident or something, and they start seizing your assets, they can take that bike and liquidate it because it's in the company name. But once it's paid for in the company name, the day you get that title in your hand, or that it arrives in the mail, you're going to sign it. You're going to sign the back of it. You're going to sign it as a seller, and on the back of it, you're going to sign and put your information down as the purchaser. Purchase price, $1. You're going to go to the DMV with the title, and you're going to type up a bill of sale, vehicle bill of sale. Just get a generic bill of sale from your state's DMV or Secretary of State website. They have generic ones on there that they accept. Fill it out, pull your company name, sold it to you, sale price $1, go in there, boom, and transfer it from the company name to your name. It's now your bike, free and clear. You don't have to worry about losing it should something happen. All right, guys, that's it for now. I'm going to jump off here. Let you guys go for now. As always, keep it between the ditches, keep the shiny side up, keep the rubber side down. I'll see you out there in the pasture, and go Army, beat Navy.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.